All right, we are good to go. Good evening, Cubs fans. Welcome into our live edition of the game postcast. Cubs once again show a dominating offensive performance out in Sacramento, take down the Athletics. Let's see here. Take down the Athletics 10 to 2. The offense is really clicking right now. And actually, to be fair, really uh, the pitching is looking far better than they did against Arizona and the Dodgers as well. So that's really good. You love to see that. Looking at the offense and the pitching continuously be on the uptick is awesome. I can see that I'm a little bright right here. Let me just turn that down a click, see how we look. All right, that's much better. Um, yeah, so again, just a quick recap. 18 to 3, game one, absolutely dominating. Ben Brown goes, what is it, five and a third or 5 innings to post a win in that game. Yesterday, 7 to 4. Steele goes 6 and 2/3 to collect the win, and then today, Tyone goes 6 innings. Cubs win 10 to 2. It's really good to see, much like Steele yesterday, Tyone had some traffic in the early innings, but really battled it out. Really battled it out to get to 6 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 7 Ks, 1 home run. That brings his ERA to a 6.97. Along with that, uh, Keller pitched for an inning. He walked a man, posted straight zeros after that, bringing his ERA down to 6 on the season. Pearson got a strike, 1 inning, posted straight zeros, helping his ERA down to a 10.38. Eli Morgan, way better than the guy that we saw out in Arizona. 1 inning pitched. He allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs or earned runs to bring his ERA down to 11.57. Across the board through all 3 games, the bullpen did fairly well. The bullpen, once again, not giving up a whole lot of runs, which is really good because guys like Morgan and Pearson are some guys that we want to count on. Keller could be a guy that could be a long form relief guy if you need him to be. We saw him do that in what is that, Monday's game, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Ray. So that must have been a game out in Arizona where Keller went 3 innings. But even then, to see the bullpen turn it around in this series, absolutely fantastic. That should give them a little bit of a boost for the day off and then going into the home opener against San Diego on Friday, um, which would be fantastic. So looking at the batters today, uh, pretty straightforward stuff. I mean, Ian Happ still being Ian Happ, 6 hits in 6 at bats, or 2 hits in six at bats. I'm sorry. Suzuki 3 for 5. He is definitely the player of the game for me. 3 for 5. He hit 2 home runs, a 3-run homer, a solo shot, and then also an RBI single. Fantastic work out of Seiya Suzuki today. That is awesome. Kyle Tucker, 0 for 3, but he did get 2 walks, and I believe he scored a run. Again, just awesome work out of him. His at bats looked really good for posting an 0 for 3. Turner 1 for 5 today with a strikeout. He also scored a run. Dansby Swanson 0 for 5. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that for Dansby Swanson, though, because 2 of those at bats he got rung up on some really just god awful pitches. One of which he argued the home plate umpire as he should. Again, that one pitch on the outside was, I can't believe that that was called a strike. So he had every reason to argue that. 2 of those at bats, though, he did go down swinging pretty ugly on some balls down. But I have no reason to doubt that. Usually when Dansby Swanson has a bad game, he usually has a good bounce back game, which is what we saw the last 2 games actually. And then Nico Horner, 1 for 4, good stuff out of him. He scored 2 runs, also had a walk. Pete Crow Armstrong, 2 for 4. He really turned it around because his first two at bats really did not look all that solid at all. He looked like he was a little bit lost, but then he salvaged it, 2 for 4, scored a run with an RBI. Awesome work out of him. Matt Shaw, he's starting to improve. Saw 2 for 4 out of him. He scored 2 runs, also with a walk today. Fantastic work. Kelly 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a strikeout. So that puts the Cubs on, let's see here, 11 hits, 10 runs. That is some awesome production. There was some production where they were swinging on the first pitch. There was some production with 2 outs. There was some production with men on base, men not on base, runners in scoring position, kind of all over the place. You had a little bit of everything today. You had the guys that were hitting home runs like Suzuki. You had the guys playing their small ball like they normally do, like Nico Horner, PCA. PCA stretches a single into a double today just because of his speed. Everything that we encompass on this offense for who they brought in to build this offense did exactly what they are expected to do today. Really, they did it the entire series. The whole series as a whole for the Cubs just looked fantastic. We'll go back to Monday's game where it was just the offensive parade. I mean, everybody except for guys that were coming off of the bench had hits. Even Ray, the pitcher, got in there for an at bat at one point during the game in the later stages. You know, for Ben Brown to make his first start, to only give up 3 runs in his first start, it's some excellent work too. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected him to give up a little bit more in that first outing. Cubs pitchers tend to do so, especially with the way that spring training shook out. You had that season opener against the Dodgers, kind of a little bit past midway, and then you came back to finish spring training. Sorry about that. Looked like my stream was pausing for a minute. But so you had, they go into spring training and then they go and play this series against the Dodgers, come back to finish spring training. Then they go up against one of the best offenses of the MLB, well, actually the best in the MLB last year in Arizona. So, I kind of expected there to be um, a couple of games per pitcher that maybe they would have some heavy traffic, maybe give up some cheesy home runs or something like that. That definitely happened in Arizona, but really out here, I mean, in Sacramento, we did not see that. Like I said, Ben Brown, he went 5 innings. He just gave up the 1 home run, 3 earned. Excellent stuff out of him. Especially with the way that the offense played, that he definitely kept them in the game up until that point when the offense just really took over. And then, like I said, I mean, everybody got a shot. Ian Happ was the only one that went over on that day. Kyle Tucker 4 for 7 with a home run. Suzuki hits a home run. I believe Dansby Swanson also hit a home run. And then, we move into Tuesday's game, 7-4, another game where Justin Steele really had to labor because of what happened early, but he pushes through for 6 and 2/3 solid innings, 4 earned runs. He gave up the two-run home runs, but really pushing that fifth and sixth inning kept the game there for the offense, which the offense definitely did their job again. Another game where Kyle Tucker hit a home run yesterday. Say Suzuki hit another 3-run home run yesterday. Those are two guys in the order 2-3, no matter which way that they bat, whether it's Tucker, Suzuki, or Suzuki, then Tucker. They're going to be really dangerous in that lineup, especially with Ian Happ. If Ian Happ continues on what he did last year, where he took a lot of walks. Ian Happ had a really solid on base percentage. So if you're getting Ian Happ on base and you got Tucker and Suzuki, especially in the later innings of the game where it starts with like Shaw and Amaya up to bat, and then say Happ walks the bases loaded, well then what do? Because you don't want to walk Suzuki to face Tucker, and then vice versa. You don't want to walk Tucker to face Suzuki, because either one of those guys could hit you a grand slam late in the game. So, you know, just excellent stuff. I like what I'm seeing. And then again with today's game, everybody's producing in one way, shape, or form. Even with Tucker going 0 for 3 with those two walks, he even got in a run, so he's performing there. Uh, even though Swanson went 0 for, again, you can't really blame him a whole lot because two of those two of those strikeouts were just on terrible calls on pitches, in my opinion. I believe that the Cubs, with today's game, outscored the Athletics 33 to 9 or 33 to 10. Um, Insane work out of the Cubs. Wonderful work out of the Cubs, as a matter of fact. But yeah, 33 to 9. That is just insane. And seeing this production early is also really a good thing in my opinion because last year we did have those games that were really big blowouts, but at the beginning of the season, it took pitchers and the offense a couple of games to get going. I would say that we technically saw that because of the Dodgers series. They got off to a little bit of a slow start when facing the Dodgers. They were okay in Arizona. They really should have came out of that series ahead 3-1, but they found a way to even that series 2-2, which is all right. But then the sweep, the Athletics ahead of the home series is just crucial, crucial work for this offense. Build their confidence. Again, the bullpen pitched really good in this series, so it's really good for them, especially guys like Pearson and Morgan, the guys that gave up the 8 runs in Arizona. Really good to see them put zeros on the board as far as earned runs go, or runs just in general. So hopefully that's a turning point for them to help them build up some confidence before going into the series against the Padres, because the Padres are going to be an extremely tough matchup, 100% for sure. We will be previewing the Padres in tomorrow's episode when we do the Cubs week in review, which we will be doing every Cubs off day. I think on sometimes it'll be Mondays. I think sometimes that will be Thursdays. It really just whichever is their off day is the day that we'll do the weekend review, which really that weekend review could either be 7 days or 10 days. It just depends on which day the off day falls. But that is how that is going to work out. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the Cubs take down the Athletics 10-2, sweep the series. And we look forward to meeting with you guys tomorrow as we look at the week in review and we preview that Padres series. With that, my friends, comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this series. What did you like? What didn't you like? Who do you think are your stars of the series for the series? I definitely will put down Seiya Suzuki and Kyle Tucker. They were absolutely monstrous. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, mornings, whenever you are catching this podcast episode, and we'll see you next time.